Kabir, In Search of Good and Evil. A Tale of Anamarupa. Kabir, this is the name by which I am known. I was born many years ago in a lush land, watered by great rivers, where many races live together, and where faith is professed both in the one God and in the many gods, and where clean-shaven ascetics walk around without any god to be venerated. Since I was young I have asked myself the problem of good and evil, and what the truth was among all those proclaimed. I was a student of the greatest masters of my time, and I learned a lot from them, but about good and evil, their voices were often discordant. I understood then that I should try to discover it myself, and I devoted myself to asceticism for a long period, but still the solution did not present itself to me. I then set off along lonely paths. After many years of fruitless searching, I found myself in a desert, and when I was now despairing of getting out alive, I saw a fire in the distance. Thinking that I would find help there, I headed there. And behold, I saw a burning bush, and a voice spoke to me. "I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me." I prostrated myself before his presence. I dared to ask him about good and evil, and who was the most just man. He who loves me with all his heart, with all his soul, and with all his mind, and loves his neighbor as himself, is the most just of men. Good is doing my will, and evil is doing your own will. Was there ever anyone who succeeded in this? I asked then. My faithful servant Job, tempted by the devil in his possessions, in his affections and in his very health, never lost faith in me, but accepted everything patiently. There were others who endured calamities and tribulations for my name's sake, and their glory is great in the kingdom of heaven. But for those who disappoint me, the fall is equally great. My servant Lucifer, the brightest of angels, refused to bow before Adam, as I had ordered him, and therefore from the highest heaven, I hurled him to the lowest place in the universe, and he is still there, and there it will remain until the end of time. And Adam himself and his companion Eve disobeyed me, and for this reason I expelled them from the earthly paradise, and made them mortal, and their guilt is paid for by all their descendants. But whoever has faith in me, and does my will, he will be saved, and his immortal soul will be able to enjoy the vision of my merciful face, forever and ever. At this point, a terrible thunderclap put an end to my vision. I fell dead for I don't know how long. When I recovered, I discovered that I was no longer in the desert, but in a lush forest, full of life and color, where flowers I had never seen spread their irresistible scent. Kabir, are you lost in my forest? I saw in front of me a handsome young man, with skin the color of the sky, who was observing me with an amused expression. "Who are you?" I asked him, "and how do you know my name?" "I am Govinda, I have known you forever. This forest is my kingdom." I understood then that I was standing before Lord Krishna of 1,000 names, and I immediately clasped my hands as a sign of respect. He seemed amused by this, and returned the same greeting. I asked him the same question I asked the desert god. "Haven't they taught you that you must perform the right rites in my honor and respect your caste duties?" He told me with a mischievous look. "Yes, I know all these things, but are they the measure of good and evil?" Then the beautiful god laughed, and I seemed to see, reflected in his figure, the whole forest, and every creature that ever existed and ever will exist. I saw Shiva, the terrible in his eternal cosmic dance, and the great goddess, in all his manifestations, from the merciful mother, to the terrible bloodthirsty, and finally I saw myself. But it was a matter of a moment. These things, O Kabir, who are so dear to me, are used to be reborn in heaven and avoid hell, which, however, as you know, are not eternal. When finally, you are tired of the great tour of life, and you want to join me, you will have to do much else. You will have to meditate on me without ever getting tired. You will have to carry out the actions that are your responsibility, without remaining attached to their fruit, and you will have to always have me in your heart. He who perceives me everywhere, and sees everything in me, never loses sight of me, nor do I lose sight of him. He abides forever in me, such a person. This is what my beloved Arjuna did, even going so far as to fight a fratricidal war, when he understood that he was only an instrument of my power, and he understood the illusion of the cycle of life. He was me and I was him, and all the fighters were us. You are me, dear, O Kabir, and knowing this you will be united with me, no longer bound to the cycle of rebirths. But if no one is far from you, and everyone is you, why the illusion of this life? And he, appearing like a naughty-faced child, laughing happily. This is my game, forever and always. There is no rush, we have all eternity to complete it. And still laughing he appeared to me in his four-armed form and led me away, but I don't remember how. I woke up from the sleep that had overcome me, and I found myself near a river. I saw, sitting under a fig tree, a handsome old man with a shaved head, who was looking at me, smiling serenely, and really everything about him gave the idea of quiet and peace. "Good morning," I said to him, "I am Kabir, and who are you, venerable sir?" "Siddhartha is my name." Hearing him speak, I felt the irrepressible impulse to ask him, "Are you the right man?" And he, continuing to smile amiably, said, "For countless lifetimes I have wandered, seeking in vain the builder of the house of my suffering. But now I have found him, builder of nothing, from today on. His boards were removed, and the ridge beam was broken. Desire is all extinguished, my heart is now united with the uncreated." I was amazed to hear these words, and then I insisted, "You are therefore the most just man. I see things as they are, I am not a prisoner of ideas, concepts, or notions. He who sees beyond good and evil is awake. Explain better, please. Come, contemplate this world. Look at it, it's a festively decorated float. See how foolish people are enraptured by their own ideas, while the wise man has no attachment. But how is it possible to achieve such a thing? Everything we are is generated by the mind, it is the mind that traces the path. Give rise to a mind that does not abide anywhere, a non-discriminating mind, an all-embracing mind. And how can one obtain such a mind? Be aware of everything you do. Let go of the past. Drop the future. Let go of the present. With a free heart, reach the other shore, beyond suffering." I was shaken by these words, and it seemed to me that a veil was being torn. I asked, "What about God then?" "All phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble and a shadow, like dew and lightning. So you have to meditate on them." And saying this he stood up, and without saying anything more, he slowly walked away. Kabir, this is the name by which I am known. I was born many years ago in a lush land, watered by great rivers, where many races live together, and where faith is professed both in the one God and in the many gods, and where clean-shaven ascetics walk around without any god to be venerated. I am very old now, and I have learned something about good and evil. But I can't teach it to you, you have to find it yourself.